Long Wolf's account of his experience at the Wounded Knee Massacre 1890. We were living on White Clay Creek below the agency when we heard it said that they had captured Bigfoot with his band and that they were being held in camp on Wounded Knee Creek. Sit chanka tioshbaye ob, o wicha yuspapi na chankpe opi el, wichayu ha ahitipi, gayapi na umpi unha makhasan wakba el, o wakba manik Ihutawabia Untipi. I kept thinking, I wonder what it is like, and I invited three young, to join me in coming along. Itcho dokeshke, echami meninki, echami miki na, koshkalaka yamani ekta u awichawapche. They agreed right away, and so we started off on horseback early in the morning. Wanchag iyowinyab chanke hihanachtin shunk aka yang ekta unhipi. We dismounted behind a clump of bushes on the hillside west of the massacre site, about a quarter mile away. Owichakte kin etan hepia iwiyoch beyatahan makha iyutchapi shokela wahehayam champamana wan. Inabungliachupi. From there we saw everything very well, how the whole camp acted and how they maneuvered nearby. Hetahan wichotiki ataya dokel shkampina opiich iya uki kiela chanke iyuha dayan wa unyankapi. On the hillside to the west, a dry gully ran from the end of a cut down to where it joined Wounded Knee Creek. Wiyoch beyatahan hepia ki ekta kse ihanke wan etan kutakia osmaka wan minichola hiuna chankpe opi wakpaki ekta hiyochloke. North of this gully, the foot soldiers were surrounded the encampment in a half circle, standing guard. Osmaka ki el iwaziyatahan wichoti makha amani akichita ki hena iglukshaya wa awayang najipi. On a knoll, a short distance from this, about 2 cannon were set up. Itohanya apaha wa el maza khantka num eche eglepi. The mounted soldiers occupied the ground on the other side of the dry creek. Wakpa buzakin uma echiatahan shunk akayanka akichitakin ish opi ichiapi. At a certain time, all the men were coming toward the center of the half circle, and they stood in a line. Ungana watohanta ehon wichakin iyuha hochokata hiyayapi na oechiha inajipi. Almost all of them were wearing sacred ghost shirts. There was one among them standing there with his blanket drawn tightly about his head. Iyuha kinil ogle wakhan umpi, el opcheya wanji minichuha shina wan yuproshin ichoman in inaji. Wana hiyete wakin wan akichita ikcheka num ob hiyayapina owechiha najipik el yapina ihankea najiki el batchaka pina maza wakhan kilapi. It is said that an interpreter was with them that I heard later. Ieska wan ki chichapi shke he itcha hena nawach. They went down the line demanding the gun of each one in turn. They came to that one standing with his blanket wrapped tightly about his head. Owechiha naji piki echel wanji totrog maza wakhan kila awicha hiaya pik el opchea proshin ichoma najik he el ipi. When they got close to him, he withdrew and shifted his stance, moving a bit away. Kiela yapik hehan iglu cheyapchaya na ekta wapcha inaji. They arrived there, and again he did that, and so he stood at the end of the row of men. El ihuni picha ake iyana hechuna echel ihanke kin ekta inaji. So when they were standing there and when they attempted to open his blanket, it is reported that he uttered an angry cry in a loud voice. We didn't hear that. Ho wana el inajipi na shina giyuza menipi gehon hot chanka kia chna hingla shke he na unch umpi shni. Then he lowered his gun a bit and pressing it against the officer, fired it. He hon maza khankim ayuhu kul ichu na abatan yus el iye. Somebody shouted, "Fire!" And so instantly things got terrible. Duwa dokia, fire, eya niyacha hechegla techi hingle. Amid the firing of guns, the boom of the cannon could be heard. Maza khan utchapi el opeya, maza khan tchanka ki bu eyes he. We jumped on our horses and hurried beyond the ridge. Akan iye unki chiapi na bloki inam unkina jipi. From the sounds, we knew things were dying down at last, but we were scared by then, so we finally departed for home. Onach echiataha hankea ekta iyazika cha. Slol unyampi eash hehanyash unglush iyayapi chanke hechena unglia chupi. The one who had fired first and killed an officer was named Slippery Hide. Tchogea utchina akichita itchanchawan gat iyeyek unhe hashluta echiapi. He was from the Cherry Creek camp on the Cheyenne River Reservation. Hoch woju oyanke el champcha wakba wichotikin hetaha. Here is how they said he did it. Immediately after he killed him, he took refuge inside a wall tent nearby. Hechel echum shke. Wakata yeina hehon tioblecha wan ikielo han cha. Ekta onapcha shke. So the soldiers as one aimed at it and fired and shot it into flames. Heche akichita wan owanjila yuzapi na tipiki wo ilepi. Then they were looking around the fire after the fire went out, and then it is reported that Slippery Hide was laying there burned black. I did not see that, at least. Wana iyuha iyasnik ehon ewayanka piyunkhan heche hashluta heecha sabyela chugnachya chbaya shke he eke eash mamblake shni.